regardless of our situation, the circumstances that we're living in, just like Viktor Frankl says in Man's Search for Meaning. If you're not familiar with that book, check it out. Brilliant regarding the concentration camps that he was put through. It really talks about how there's the inner experience is something that no one can take away from us, regardless of how dire the circumstances are. And what I'm trying to express right now is that there are portions in our lives where circumstances do seem dire, stressful, anxiety-prone, emotionally triggered, day in and day out, physical exhaustion, intellectual, emotional exhaustion. And the regenerative power lies within each of us because we maintain the control over what we think. And our thoughts become what we experience in our reality. It's the consistency and the resilience that we have is what separates joy and well-being and fulfillment in life and success of any type. It's that resilience. So it's really very similar to exercise and muscle memory, where if you continue to flex a particular muscle or muscle group, they tend to get a memory, almost a sort of a unconscious mode. It's called muscle memory. It's a groove. Golfers, the best golfers have it, and that's a very challenging sport. But they train their swing so much that they get into a groove. Basketball players with a shot, pitchers with a throw. There's muscle memory, yoga positions, gymnastics. I mean, anything. And that is the type of thing that is so valuable that we're really trying to get across to anyone, and especially children, because if we can inform them with the knowledge and the expertise that top-level athletes and people who are connecting their mind and their body, their spirit, the unknowns that they can't even describe, and they'll tell you flat out that some of the most successful people listen or watch Will Smith and some of his work and some of the things he professes. Jim Carrey. These are entertainers, but they're highly successful people that are on a path of fulfillment. They're on a journey towards self-realization, and they share the same thing. The terminologies may be different. They may vary from person to person, but essentially the essence of them is that our thoughts are real. Our thoughts and our belief systems and the self-talk that we have dictates our lives. It dictates our path. If we think positively and anticipate, we can lay out before ourselves the pathway that we can then walk. So we envision it, we believe it, we step into it, and we continue to do that day after day, week after week, minute to minute. It's the resilience of when we are pulled out of it due to day-to-day stresses. It's the capability and the resilience we have to jump back into that which we choose our life experience to be like. The highest and greatest use of who we are as human beings, the exploration of that, is the journey. And there will be challenges. So it's the concept of, if you try something, risk and fail as fast as you can fail, because then you'll get the learning and you'll get to success sooner. And, it's the concept of failing forward. Fail and become forward. Fail forward into your life. Because we all fail. We all try things. Whether it's a type of bar of soap or deodorant or toothpaste, you pick what you think will work. And if it doesn't work, you could consider that a failure, but you learn from it and you choose differently. So it's funny to me, that I'm breaking it down to such a simple term, but it's so true. If we look at it realistically, those could be considered failures of choices that we made, but really they're just a reorientation toward what works for us. And you can also liken it to sailboats or airplanes. They're navigating to their destination, just like we navigate to a desired outcome in our lives. And if we're consciously approaching that, if we're thoughtfully and mindfully evaluating our lives and understanding who we are and what we truly want, not what other people recommend or suggest or teach us that we might want, based on social and cultural norms that may not fit your particular worldview or desires, but they were taught to you. You have to sometimes unlearn those, and that's very challenging. But getting back to the navigation, as you navigate, as you learn yourself and you start to choose and navigate your life, oftentimes the most intense guidance and the most truthful guidance is when you do connect to your spirit, when you do stop and listen. Yes. Stopping and listening is the most profound adventure I've ever been on. That speak to anyone who actually does it. And that's where the guidance comes from. That's where your truth shows up. So as you move through life, the navigation of redirecting, just the way boats on the water or planes in the sky have to continually get back on course because they're off course more than they're on course. So it's a navigation. It's a constant recorrection, recalibration to get ourselves in alignment with that with which we feel most connected to. That which resonates for us as individuals, and it's different for every single person. So our education system and your lifelong education must realize the uniqueness that you are and that our children are. We each have unique perspectives and gifts and talents, and those can be developed into skills with work.